I'm Phil Fasciana, guitar player from Malevolent Creation.
Rob Barrett, guitar.
We're on tour, freshly
As
out
always.
of jail. Well, we'd like to tour more often, but our new album's out. We're touring, and just trying to promote the album as best we can right now.
Okay, it seems like a lot of lineup changes lately, or over the last few years, I'd say.
Always lineup changes.
Always. Well, when it comes to Malevolent, how many people have been playing in the band so far?
Oh, I lost count, but actually, like this lineup right now is just guys that we played with that were in the band. It's like we got the best of the best all back in the band. So it's not like anything's new members. Just
Gordy though.
yeah, our bass player is the newest guy, but me, Rob, and Dave, and
Obviously, one big change with Jay being gone as a vocalist and bassist. What happened there?
we were the last U.S. tour was just a lot of things weren't things weren't working right. He had some problems that arose from like his girlfriend breaking up with him or something, and he started drinking, and attitude just got a little crazy. But what happened was when we were over in Europe, make it short, fast. It's just we had a problem over there before because we had there was like a racial slur on the Eternal album where it said the word nigger on there, and people were especially over in Germany, people were really offended by it, and we apologized and whatever, and it's a word, and it was in a song, and it's too late to do anything about it, but just to say we're sorry, and we don't really play the song anymore anyways. So over in Europe we've had some problems, and this was, I think, was like the second or third time we were over there, and kind of like the problems were pretty much resolved, and we had apologized, and did everything we could to put that behind us. But we were in Germany one night, and Jason wanted to wear a Ku Klux Klan shirt. I guess he thought it was funny or cool, whatever. I asked him nicely not to wear it, because I knew problems would happen. It was a Friday night big show, and you were in Germany, and you don't wear KKK stuff in Germany.
That's the wrong place.
It's only common sense. And he changed the shirt, but just in spite of what I asked him to do, he turned around and put it on before we went on stage. We went on stage, people were flipping us off, throwing shit at us, returned tons of merchandise, and I told him if he wore the shirt, I was gonna kick his ass. And that's exactly what happened. So we walked off the bus, I went on the bus, he started laughing about the whole thing, I ended up beating him up, and then he quit the band. Which, and when we finished the tour, and then we got home and he quit. And it was probably the best thing that could have happened, because he said, like, don't, let's not throw away the band, if we want to still be Malevolent Creation.
Did you actually think of calling it quits at that point?
I was just frustrated anyways, that was like the icing on the cake with that, that kid pulling that stuff, and just, if you know the guy, if you know anyone that does know him, he's not a very easy person to work with. But all aside, he quit. Me and Rob contacted Brett. We got
that's the next question.
Okay, we called Bro. We figured if we were going to keep the name Malevolent Creation and we want to do this, in order for us to be the same, or get Brett back, because to get another singer would just be kind of stupid. It would take, we already lost a lot of our sound when Jason started singing. The Malevolent sound was kind of different, because of the monotone vocals and stuff. It just kind of made us average death metal, style. But we got Brett back. He said, "Man, let's do it, man." Fired him all up. He's not done nothing in 4 years. And it was just from then on.
And how was it that Brett left in the first place?
He had a lot of personal problems, man. He was just, by the time we were doing our third album, man, the whole band was just all in another world, and Brett was the furthest gone out of everybody, and you could tell that he just wasn't putting 100% into it, and we knew it, and the record company dropped us. It's just, it's something, just things happen, it's not like we're all 16-year-old kids and we can, you know, people have lives and problems happen, and then, you know, we didn't want to give up the band, and we really didn't want to get another singer at the time, and we, you know, gave Jay a crack at doing it just so we could keep the band, you know, the way it was, and you know, we did, you know, did all right. I mean, I'm not gonna slag Jay's, you know, for being when he did it, he did a good job, you know, to me. I mean, you know, I seen that he put a lot into it, and you know, we continued without Brett.
And we have another member who's coming back, Rob. You were in the band, then you split. You were with Cannibal for a while. What happened there, and how come you ended up back here?
Just musical differences.
How was it that you left Malevolent in the first place? Because I don't think that's really...
Well, I had another band called Solstice at the time, and Alex Marquez was the drummer, and he wanted to go back and do that, and it was a decision between one band or the other. So I moved back down to Miami, and then we ended up parting ways.
Okay, so do you see anything different now that you're back in the band as
Yeah.
opposed to what it used to be before?
Yeah,
Could you point them out?
it's just heavier. It's faster, it's sicker, it's more fun to play.
Another guy you got back is Dave on drums. How come he came back to the band? He was with Suffocation for a while, right?
Yeah, we were working
Is he
with...
still with him?
No, they were broken up, and
Okay.
what happened was we were working on the songs for the album. We had another drummer at the time, and you know, we got a lot of the songs, all the songs for the album we got written with another drummer. But when it came down to doing the drum tracks, you know, when we did it, we did the drum tracks initially in Florida, and after throwing them up on a reel and putting triggers on the kicks and listening to the drum tracks, you know, by themselves, we realized that they weren't suitable for, you know, to keep, you know, and it was either use bad drum tracks or have him, you know, redo the drums, or get somebody that can do the job right. And Rob said, you know, we had found out just recently that Suffocation broke up and Dave wasn't playing with them anymore, and Dave's a great drummer. You know, we played with him before. Rob always wanted to play with him, and just perfect timing. We called him up. We were in the studio. Dave, come to Chicago and help us out. We're having problems. And it just, the way everything was going on in his life, and just worked out. We didn't know if he was going to be permanent, but he came down and learned 13 songs and recorded them in 3 days. You know, he did a great job. You know, made the album 100 times better. And
How do you guys come up with the record? Obviously, you made a lot of them. What does it take? You know, who writes what?
I mean, you know, it's just, we have a lot of stuff, you know, and I listen to a lot of music, so I you know, we just try to do our own thing, whatever comes out, you know. I mean, it's hard to say, you know.
Obviously, both of you have a style. I mean, listening to Solstice, there's a definite style there, and Malevolent, definite style there. How does it combine into Malevolent?
Oh, we're both similar in styles, and influences are the same, and you know, we listen to the same kind of stuff. We listen to a lot of two guitar playing stuff. And for me and him to get back together, playing together, it's really easy. You know, I mean, he always...
I haven't contributed on the new album too much, though, only just certain parts. So the next album will be
a full...
us putting it together, like even, probably.
And, you know, Dave will be there with us writing the new stuff, too. And, you know, he won't really be playing somebody else's drum parts. He didn't, like, reproduce what the other guy did. He added his own style, and, you know, added a lot more double bass and, you know, made it sound more like Dave.
And now that you've mentioned the future, how solid is this lineup? You know,
So far, man, we haven't had a problem yet. Not one squabble. We've got arrested once, but that was the whole band together. But other than that, I mean, we're just taking it day by day, you know. We're just trying not to, you know, step on anyone's feet. We all know that you know, in order for us to, you know, keep going and have a future, we have to stick together. So
yeah.
we're doing pretty good right now.
And what would you attribute the longevity of the band? I mean, after all, you're one of the longest running death metal bands out there. There are a lot of bands, you know, who are with you on the Roadrunner that kind of came and went, and you still keep going. So what's causing all this?
I
passion?
just love music, man. You know, I mean, if I know that, you know, if I can get, you know, if I'm able to put out records and stuff, I pretty much do anything I can do to, you know, secure a lineup and, you know, and do it. Because, I mean, without doing music, you know, I'm pretty much lost, you know. I mean, just like all the guys in the band. I mean, this is a thing that we, you know, we feel that we're good at, and you know, we love playing music. So, you know, there's no reason to stop if they're, in, you know, unless death.
You've been with Pavement for a while. How is that relationship coming along?
Well, I mean, when we first signed with them, it was you know, nothing to brag about or anything. But just recently, you know, in the last year, they've actually promoted the album, the new album especially, a lot, you know, and starting to talk a bit more with them and stuff. And they had, you know, they finally are on their feet and they have money and, you know, they can afford to do things for us now. And our contract's actually up with them. And we're in the middle of negotiating a new contract, you know, a lot better of a contract. But, you know, until we sign on the dotted line, you know, we have a lot of touring to do right now, so we're going to just worry about that, and we'll see what comes along, you know, we'll see.
Also, you did a side project, Hate Blow. Could you talk about that for a while?
All right, out of boredom. And, you know, like you know, the problems we've always, you know, lineup problems, especially always with drummers. We had one good friend of ours that was, his name is Larry Hawk, Crazy Larry. And it was pretty much his idea, you know. I mean, we put together a few songs one time, like Rob, me and him, drinking beer, wrote some songs, did a 4-track demo, you know, and I never really got a chance to continue with it because he was in Cannibal Corpse and he was always busy, and, you know, I was busy trying to, you know, keep Malevolent Creation going. And well, when we finally did have time, we you know, we ended up, you know, doing another tape, and Pavement wanted to release like the tape that we did, a 10-song demo, but you know, if we were going to do an album, we wanted it to be, you know, put more songs on it, make it a full-length thing, and, you know, it's a lot more. It's, you know, there's not much melody in it. It's just, you know, it's what we like, you know, Terrorizer style, a lot of hardcore influence, grindcore stuff, and, you know, it's different. It's more, it's uncontrolled, whereas, like, we try to keep Malevolent Creation in control.
Got it. Okay. Ten Commandments.
Before we were going to do it, you know, everything seemed like it was going okay, and by the time we had finished the album and everything, and we got on the road, things started getting crazy. You know what I mean? The drummer, we had problems with him. He was, you know, his head was other places. He was like engaged to get married, and the other guitar player that's pictured on here, he didn't work out very well, and we ended up. That's when John Rubin stepped into the band and, you know, fulfilled our touring stuff.
Gotta cut out. I'll be back.
Okay. And you know, all in all, I mean, this album is, it's a good album. It's our first album. You know, I'm still proud of it. You know, I mean, at the time, you know, we put a lot into it. You know, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on this album. But you know, it was our first album, and you know, I have nothing bad to say about it. Next.
Yep. Go on. Show it, and name it, and talk about it.
Retribution album. A lot of people consider this one of our finer albums. And at this time, this was, like I said, we had a guitar player and drummer problem from the first album. And that's where Alex Marquez and Rob Barrett stepped in. You know, Rob was a good friend of ours from, you know, back in the days when we still lived in New York and stuff. And he had come down to Florida, and we got him hooked up with Alex. And Rob was living in Miami, and they had formed the band Solstice. And, you know, they used to come to visit and party and watch us rehearse. And one night, the guitar player and drummer didn't show up, and Alex and Rob did. And they grabbed the instruments.
There you go.
And that was the end of that. We just played all night long and bought a couple cases of beer. And they knew a lot of our material already because just by, you know, being familiar with it, and they used to practice our songs when they rehearsed, so they had songs to screw around with. And, you know, we busted ass and we wrote, as soon as they joined the band, I think we only had 1 or 2 songs written. And, you know, me and Rob just banged heads and put together the rest of the songs for this album. And, you know, the album went on to do good, and we did a really great tour with Obituary and Cannibal Corpse and Agnostic Front. And then after the tour, that's when things started falling apart. Alex, I don't know, you want to comment on that? I don't really
Started
know.
whoring out.
Yeah, he was just
doing a bunch of other albums.
And, you know, that was that. Okay. John Rubin comes back into the band, Stillborn album. All right, now this is where the decline of the band started, you know, it started getting shaky at this time. Actually, Alex wasn't even in the band, even though he appears on the album. A lot of, you know, I mean, I did my best to try to put together an album, but like you know, like I said, everybody, things weren't just working. You know what I mean? It was, no one was putting 100% into it. We recorded with people that were, you know, complete idiots. You know, it was just really no one was really trying to hold us together. Whereas if we might have done it with Scott Burns again, he would realize that there's problems and this isn't the best that we could do. So we ended up recording an album, you know, in my opinion, pretty half-assed. Nonetheless, there is some good songs on here. Yeah, I mean, you know, some people like this album. I don't hate it, but it was really weird, and it was a rushed album, you know. And I mean, I played like all the guitar parts and even the bass parts, you know. I mean, no one knew what the hell they were doing except for I think me and John, the other guitarist. Mm-hmm. But you know, it definitely took a couple years off my life doing this album, but it's done with, you know. And in the future, you know, we're thinking about maybe possibly re-recording a couple of the tracks.
That'd be cool.
And bring them up to our standards, you know, that we now, you know, just to see how they would sound. You know, can't guarantee anything, but you know, they are our songs, so we might as well try beef them up or something. Okay, we move on to Eternal. We lost our record deal with Roadrunner. Jason took over on vocals. Dave Colross joins the band. We got a phone call from, well, actually, I had found out about Dave through Rob. And I don't remember if I had his number or he called me, but needless to say, he called, we got in contact with him. He came down from New York to Florida, seen him play drums. He was in, he's a great drummer. Another, this album, it was different for us. I mean, musically, it's still Malevolent creation. We actually definitely sped up and got a lot more aggressive compared to Stillborn, which we definitely was, in my opinion, we needed to do. And then, we toured a lot for this album. We put a lot into it. A lot of people still love this album. We play a lot of the songs live, and it's a good, overall, it's a good album. I'm proud of it. But as fate has it, we move on to the next album and a couple more guys.
And actually, in between, you did the Joe Black album.
Oh yeah, we did. There was 3 songs left over from Eternal that were that we recorded. We recorded 15 songs, and those 3 were just actually one of them or 2 of them were Hate Plow songs, but we didn't ever know if we were ever going to do any more Hate Plow, so we just changed the lyrics because we couldn't remember we changed the lyrics that Joe Black used to be called Schoolyard Tragedy or something. Something crazy. But the music was cool, so we had studio time and we ended up doing it. Joe Black's got some remixes that the guy that recorded Eternal did. He was into shit like that. And some tracks off our 90 demo. And there's a Slayer cover on there. It's we kind of wanted to put something out because we knew that it was going to be a while before we got around to doing another album, and Pavement wanted us to put something out. And instead of putting out an EP, we scraped up a bunch of material and made a full length out of it.
Got it.
Okay, new drummer, another guitar player, friend of ours. John Paul Soares, he played in a local band, Rape Date. Well, there was actually another guy before that, but he didn't make it to the album. He was just a good guitar player, but he just didn't have his life straightened out, and we couldn't take care of him like he was a kid. So, and a different drummer, and this album, we actually busted ass in this. We put it together fairly quick. There's 13 songs on it. It's definitely fast. In my opinion, it may be a little too fast. It's a little rushed, I would say. It's music's rushed. It don't flow as smooth as it should. But all in all, everybody did good on this album. And like I said, we still play songs off of both Eternal and this. And then, we had the blowout in Europe. Well, actually, before we even got on the road, the guitar player, we find out he can't go on tour. We're like, great. I got a call from Rob. I quit Cannibal Corpse. I went, we need you. Rob's back in the band. Just in time to maybe a couple weeks, learned a bunch of songs from the last few albums, and we went on the road. And we had the problem with Jason in Europe. We get home, make a couple phone calls, bam, Brett's back in the band. And we went over everything, but as soon as I knew that Brett was back in the band, then I knew that everything was going to be different. The music, the style, the writing for the songs started. I think it sounds similar to the older albums in the way of the guitar playing and stuff, and because and especially the drumming and everything, and there's no limits on this album. I love this album. We're already looking forward to the next album. But it kicks ass. We're happy about it. Everybody did a good job on the album. So all in all, considering everything that always happens, this is one good thing that happened. And then, in between, before this album was released, we got a chance to put together the Hate Plow album, and unfortunately, after we did the original drum tracks on the album, the drummer, our good friend Larry Hawk, died. So, we kind of wanted to make this a little bit more serious, and we wanted to tour, and we had, plans for Hate Plow, but after, Larry died, we were just, it took us a while to even think about finishing the album, because all we had was the drum tracks, but we got things worked out, and we took a little bit of time, but we ended up coming up to Chicago, and with Brian Griffin, and we finished the album, and it's just a shame that, we really, for something that we just put together just to have fun with, it came out really good, and it's really sad that Larry never got a chance to, be around to see it, because I know that if anybody, he would have been the most proud, because it was pretty much him that made the band, do everything, He was, I want this, I want that, I want this kind of riff, I'm going to play,
I remember that.
And it's great because I have someone doing that, because, for once it's good for somebody to be yelling at me and saying, do this and do that, and it's great. So, we're, since, we couldn't find a suitable replacement, we're in our spare time, we're putting together the songs for the next Hate Plow album, and, it should be even less metal sounding. We're trying to go for even a really out of control grindcore album. And Dave, our drummer, Dave Koros, we can't really find anybody else, and there's no sense in wasting any time looking for anybody when we got one of the best right there.
So did you ever consider making up like a Malevolent Creation members tree?
I actually have done that. I did do it. Yeah, I could probably. I'd need the other guys to sit around, and we could probably even dig up some names of people that were in there for maybe a day or two.
Well,
But no, hopefully the trees, it stops. You know what I mean? Right now we're just, like I said, everybody's happy, and I hope everybody is. We're just gonna, we're gonna ride it out and try to fulfill all the touring obligations, and then get back into the sweatbox rehearsal room and put together another 13 or so songs. And possibly before that even comes out, we're gonna start recording a lot of the shows, like over in Europe and stuff like that. We're gonna try to put out a live album, and try to put as many songs on the album, from all the albums, and we'll see how that comes out.
Cool.